people like me. There's a difference there. There's that. And unfortunately, it's that side of the difference in which people choose to uphold themselves and hold others down.
Yes.
And until we figure out, and you know what? I and another individual, we were discussing this the other day. And Phil, you and I have discussed this before. What would it take? What would it take for all of the races, all of the religions, all of everybody to be able to get along and say, you know what? This is a human movement.
I can tell you. I've got the solution.
And what is it?
Interfucking. Interracial fucking.
But see, there are those that are taught that that's, and you can't, and that, unfortunately, you have to get everybody on board. And then those that are not on board, you pretty much just have to wait for them to die the fuck off.
Right.
And while they're dying the fuck off, there is some impressionable relative that is loving them and is missing them and is wanting to carry forward their ideals, their thoughts, and whatnot. Hatred will still continue to be bred.
Yes.
It has to be stamped out by the only thing that brings any 2 or any 2 billion individuals together, and that is a common cause. Unfortunately, there is only one threat which, while has never been seen, has been visualized and postulated and thought about. It's been brought to us in big budget blockbusters over the summer.
Aliens?
Yes.
Armageddon.
Alien fucking invasion or Armageddon. That is the only thing that is going to get everybody on the same fucking page. Because I guarantee you, something comes from outer space with better weapons than what I've got, better technologies than what I've got, and stronger than what I've got. I'm going to give you a gun, and I'm going to not give a flying fuck if you are white, Latino, Mexican, Jewish. Can you pull a trigger? Can you defend our human cause? Can you serve our common goal? Can you do that? Cool.
Even given what you're saying, the hatred is still there. It's just now been focused towards a different direction.
There are those
It's still a form of racism. We're just outsourcing it now.
Well, damn. It's not. Damn. That's a good point. But I believe that in that particular case, we're dealing less with racism and more with xenophobia. Xenophobia. I think that we're dealing more with that because when we talk about racism, we're talking about different classes or people that are different by some genetic trait, okay, that exist within that same, what is it, phylum? That exist within the same species. Okay? You're human, I'm human. That's science tells us that. Okay? You're Caucasian, I'm American of African descent. All right? That, other than that, we got the whole thumbs thing in common, the whole eyes
livers,
thing,
hearts,
the talking.
brains.
Like, it's not even that I'm speaking a different language and you can't understand me. We've breached that barrier. Okay? If I tell you 2 + 2, you visualize 4 just as I mean 4. So we've crossed that fucking barrier. What I'm saying is, how do you cross the barrier that says either I feel inferior or I feel better than you? Where do we cross that barrier? And I believe that chasm only gets crossed at a common goal.
How about this? Diana just posted, it's like siblings that fight all the time, and then some other punk kid threatens your sibling and you both kick his ass. Quote, no one kicks my brother's ass but me.
Right. Nobody fucks with my family.
Right.
And, you know, coming from the father of 2 interracial children, okay, because this is a deep thing for them. Everybody goes through their own little identity crisis to begin with. And we're not even talking about people of mixed race. We're just talking about people. People go through that phase where they're trying to identify who and what the fuck they are, who and what the fuck they want to be. Period. Okay, so, and part of that does come from race. But it comes from race in and of what we are taught about our race and what we are taught about other races along the way. For example, it is easier to get an impressionable young black youth to hate white people if all you do is feed them lessons on slavery. That's real fucking easy. Okay? If you temper that knowledge and say, this is history, and you temper that with, say, what the civil rights movements of the 60s and 70s did, where, by the way, it wasn't just black folks, it wasn't just white folks, it wasn't just immigrants. Okay? Even then, those people were working together for the common cause. Here is the paradox. The common cause that could bring man together is racism. coincidentally, the common thread that keeps man apart is racism. That's how I feel about it.
I think
There it is.
that's very true. By the way, your wife just posted 2 black to play with the white kids, 2 white to play with the black kids.
And there it is. My children have dealt with that. Now, I say that to say this. My children, in my opinion, lead very happy and productive lives. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Being who they are. All right? They identify that they are both of dad, who is black, and of mom, who is white. Like really, really white. Like translucent. But I love it. It's silky white skin. Okay, anyway. Was that a little creepy?
That was very that was very like stereotypical, man. You know, black women like all the white women.
That was great. But see, again, it goes to preference. It goes to that personal preference. People need to focus less on what they think they should need and what they think they should want based on genetics, and more on what they think and they need and they want as personal experience. Okay? I grew up here, right here, in this town. Some people who are listening, some people who will listen to this, they know. They knew me as the short, skinny black kid that ran everywhere he went. Okay? And the reason for that was because if you lived in Granite City in the early to mid 90s and you were black and you forgot that you were black, it's okay, because there wasn't a street corner that you could cross where a pickup truck driving by with a bunch of drunken motherfuckers wouldn't remind you exactly how black you were. Now, fast forward, it's 2016, and I swear to you, nowadays, I am seeing a more equal representation, not just of black folks and white folks, but of all kinds of, like, this is becoming a very, very integrated area.
Yeah.
But that change was painful as fuck and still is.
Yeah.
Okay. And
you can pull out our yearbook.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're going to go through and maybe find like one black guy.
Right 4.
There.
That would have graduated the year that I graduated. 4.
You know what?
4 in 95. How many in 2016? God only knows. I'd have to ask Mackenzie.
By the way, your wife said she's going to beat you later.
That's, well,
sounds like fun.
Challenge accepted.
Okay.
Bring it.
Hey, I have to speak as as the lily white guy.
Okay.
Because, you know, I went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school,
right.
Catholic college, and there aren't a whole lot of black Catholics.
Not a lot.
No, I mean, honest to God,
they're a very select group.
in about 25 years of church attendance that I have attended out of my 37 years, I have maybe seen, and I'm talking if you count every week that I went, you could count maybe 100 black people. You know, keep in mind that I went for like a quarter of a century. Every week I went to church. So what's 25 times 50? Well, it's like 12,500 or something ridiculous like that.
He finds a way to fuck me with math every damn week.
Well, either way, it's a lot. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've only seen like maybe 100 black people, and actually most of the 100 black people are like the same 5 black people I saw like 10 times in a row. But they're just, so either way, my point is the area I grew up in, from like birth until high school, actually I'm sorry, birth until 8th grade, I went to school, and again, if you're counting all 8 grades of school at my Catholic grade school, and if you count all 8 years I went, so 64 classes, we had like 3 black kids.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
And none of them stayed for more than 1 year. And then in high school, I had a class. My freshman class was 250 kids. It was the biggest class at DeSmet. And we had 2 black guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I did not experience black culture until I started working at Taco Bell.
Well, you know what? Brace yourself.
Okay.
Because really, until recently, neither had I. Well, I take that back. I had black culture very, very young, up until about the time I was like 11 or 12. Okay. Around that age, I moved here to Granite. Okay. And it was a complete difference. But here's one of the reasons why. While I was younger and was immersed in black culture and did not know a lot of Caucasian kids, didn't know a lot of Caucasian people, my main influence was my family. My family is fucking huge, okay? There's two things about my.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, my family is big. Okay, there's two things about my family that you should know.
They're big and they're black.
They are big and they are intelligent and they like to fuck. Okay, there are a lot of them. All right. Now, saying that to say this, I had a lot of positive influences within my family that basically kind of knew the score before even going out into the world. They kind of already went out kind of like, okay, look, check this out. We've been looking at history, and we've gone back from the days of racism and slavery and the Holocaust and all this, and we've moved forward to all of this. And you know what? We're thinking that all that shit back then, that shit's kind of horrible. That shit doesn't really work. Okay? So, freeze, rest of the little cousins, when you go out into the world, make friends and treat people like they want to be treated based on the fact that they're people, not just because they're white or black or whatever. Okay? Treat them right. And so my influence in black culture wasn't influenced just by black culture. It was a human experience that prepared me for what I saw when I got to Granite City and really started, because I lived here and didn't associate here, okay, for like the longest time until I guess they felt I was ready. Yeah, there's a picture of my family right there. That's my cousin Adria. That's my aunt Loretta. My cousin Loretta, sorry. That's my cousin Alma. They call her Sugar. That's Bug. That is my cousin Maria. That's Craig. That's Tim back there. And that is... Shit! Brain farting. My cousin's going to kick my ass. Tasha. And
that's 1/16 of the family?
That's that right there. There is at least 2 of my grandmother's children and grandchildren, that generation represented just in this photo. And there are what, 8 people in it? Let's see, 4. Yeah, 8 visible people in this picture. 9 if you count Tim's wife hiding back there behind Bug, who by the way is white. Okay, and again, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
I can see
when my cousin Tim got married, he probably wasn't thinking, I'm marrying this chick just because she's white, or I'm marrying this chick just because I'm black. He probably was like, I'm marrying this chick because she's really fucking awesome, and I'd like to spend the rest of my life with her and breed like children's and things. Okay, it's probably what was on his mind. Okay, because if placing your particular race above others is your procreation plan, I'm going to need you to go ahead and just stitch a condom to your dick and keep wearing that motherfucker. Don't ever breed.
Right.
Because, like I said, even if we waited for everyone who was a racist to die the fuck out, that will still be bred forward.
It'll never happen.
It is all about what we are taught and what the fuck we do with it.
All I gotta say is we are all pink on the inside.
Some moment. Next week, gender relations.
Well, one thing that I would like to interject here.
Yes.
Okay.
Coming from Missouri, I bounced around quite a bit. Growing up, went to numerous schools. I actually went to Riverview Middle for 3 years. I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with that.
Scoot a little closer.
Very much so.
There you go. Just a little closer.
Riverview Middle, at the time when I went there, it was about 70% black, 30% white.
Now it's about 95% black.
And
that might even be generous.
That opened my eyes as far as the black culture. I had one guy, James Spencer, black guy. He had my back the entire 3 years. I used to be skinny and short, and well, I'm still short. But yeah, James Spencer, he used to stick up for me.
Yeah,
so
and you'll find good people like that in your life.
Speaking from a white person, you find that one black friend, and he'll change your life forever.
He said, just as long as you have just one.
As long as you have one. No more than one.
Too much. Getting kind of thuggy. Looking like the salsa walls up in this motherfucker. No,
Not that I was looking at it that way, but thank you.
But Freeze was the big
He's like, I got mine! Yay!
Where would my life be without him?
I don't know. You wouldn't be on the radio, that's for sure. Hey, I got to throw this out. There was an instance when I was a kid